Get ready. Here we go. Hey. Hello. Tis us again. Welcome everybody. This is episode 15 of See What Had Happened Was. I'm Trey the Chocolate Jock.
I'm Alex Dupree.
Welcome. Come one, come all. Here we go. Episode 15. Let's do it again. How's it going? How you doing, old light-skinned lady?
Man, I'm hot. I'm stuck in the house. We can't open the windows or the doors because we have fire and smoke everywhere. But other than that, I'm fantastic.
Uh-oh. Did you hear that? Did that happen? You good? You good with that?
What?
Okay, cool. So you said there's fires everywhere? What did you just say?
Yeah, there's fire everywhere in Oregon and California, and the air quality between California and Seattle is the worst in the world on the planet Earth.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Y'all got those crazy. You know what I think? I really think, and I've thought this forever. I've always thought that there was somebody setting those fires, like an organized group of arsonists that come out and start those fires, because it's crazy how those things just keep burning. You know, and I may sound stupid by saying this, but it's just crazy how those things are like, it's days and weeks and them shits is still going and still, you know. Kind of crazy to me, you know.
And depending on where the wind blows, whether it's from the south, it's coming to get us. If it's coming from, fires that are to the east of us, it's coming to get us. And heaven forbid, Canada's on fire. So that smoke's coming to get us. So yeah, our air quality has been so bad that they say even people with normal, regular lungs, forget me with asthma, just stepping out even for a couple of minutes can cause long-term lung damage. Oh, great. Yeah. And so Seattle didn't used to get hot back in the day. And so nobody here, there's a few people, I'm going to say nobody, but Seattle doesn't have air conditioning. It's just not one of those.
Wait, y'all don't have air conditioning?
It didn't used to get that hot here in the Pacific Northwest. So apartments and homes, a lot of them just don't have air conditioning. So we're just used to opening our windows and our doors. So then you got pieces of ash and smoke in the air. You can't open your windows and your doors. So we living in the hot box, homie. It is the sauna in here.
Okay. All right. Well,
maybe I'll drop some water weight.
Okay. All right. You said you gained though. You still gaining weight, right?
I think I may have had it where I'm on a slow decline, because I did run a couple times. I did hop the fence at that track. I told you I was running. So I may have lost like a pound, 1.74 pounds.
Impressive. I'll have you know that this is the middle of September. And what that means is I do crazy things with the beard here. So, last year I had it. It was like that. I was doing this with it. It's called a wop brush.
What? Are you making this up?
I am. I don't know if you caught that or not. But no, every year I do something with the beard. You know what I'm saying? I make it,
I am so slow. I got it.
Yeah, every year I do something with the beard. So, we're doing things. So glad to have you all with us. This is the real estate show. So a little later on this evening, we're going to have Mr. Brian Colebrook, who is a real estate agent, one of the top actually real estate agents in Chicago, if not the state of Illinois. A good friend of mine, a brother who's actually out here making moves as it relates to real estate and the real estate.
Maybe a friend of mine too.
Well, he's the Lane Tech. Lane Tech. So what's that? Lane Tech 15, Whitney Young 2. Is that what it is? You had Monique on one night, so I give you 2.
Okay. All right.
So we're killing you. We killing you.
Michelle Obama still went to Whitney Young. I mean, I got to get about 500 in the basket.
That's day one. Every time we start talking about schools and everything, somebody want to pull out Michelle Obama. Okay, you got it.
Just saying, I got to get like 500 in reserve on that one.
Okay, all right. Shouts out Daniel Frank. What's up? Checking in with us
my
also.
Buddy. He just got married.
Oh yeah. What's up to
Congratulations.
Popcorn Lady too, Rebecca.
Hey, Popcorn Lady.
What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. Okay, so lots of stuff has went on since the last time we've talked to you, beautiful people. Let's talk about that versus the other day. Now, of course, Alex didn't see it because Alex never sees any of the verses. Am I right?
I didn't see the verses, but what I always make, I just get off work when the verses start.
Ain't no excuse. Ain't no excuse.
But I
No
always
excuse.
go back to make sure I watch a clip. So I watched a clip off the Today Show when Al Roker was talking to him and what have you. So I saw the clip and I saw how they were doing their thing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I saw the setup.
So who's your pick? Like, who's your between the two? Who is your pick?
You and I never agree on this one.
Never.
I'm going Patty.
Oh, see, and I'm going Gladys. That's crazy. I mean, we didn't even talk about this
We
beforehand.
never talk about this.
Yeah. Why Patty?
That voice, man, them notes she be hitting and kicking the shoes and the wings and the just the notes, the hand, the stuff that makes you, the notes she makes make you make that face, that, you know what I mean? When somebody hit that note, you're like, damn, like hot.
Okay. So here's what I was.
That.
Okay, so here's what I was saying about Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle. So both of them are great singers, both of them legendary performers, etc., etc., etc. Patty's the one, though, the more entertainer, more of the entertainer. Yes. You know, because Patty was an actor as well. Remember, she was Dwayne Wayne's mother on A Different World. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Played that role to a T. She was also something, and when she was just not like a mother in a role, like she had like jokes and. You know, they had wrote some really nice material for her, and she was also acting in something else. I remember Patti LaBelle.
I wouldn't say Up All Night. Was she up All Night with Vivica Fox?
How long did that show last?
It was only 2 or 3 seasons. It was short. It was short lived.
Okay, the fact that you even remember that is what's crazy to me.
This is what I do. This is what I bring out the old stuff.
Okay, clearly.
But Patty's songs, her actual catalog. Her music is more wide ranging than Gladys's, I would say. Like her hits.
Why would you say that?
Because she got the voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir. I don't speak French.
You did that though. You did that.
So she's got that. She got I'm making sure that's her, not Natalie Cole. She got the new attitude from the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack. Ooh.
Okay.
That was
because
Patty was saying the range, and then You Are My Friend and the Wings. It's the range, you know.
Yeah.
Beat, downbeat.
Okay. All right, I got you. Gladys is straight black singer. Nothing too much crossover for her, and that's fine. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, she's still amazing. Who ain't busting out LA?
Keep going.
Too much for the man.
Come on.
I can't sing. Don't do it to me. That's the one thing. Singing and dancing ain't what I do.
All right. So let's start talking about stuff. Talking about stuff. So a lot of stuff has been happening, like I said, over the past week or so. We haven't been on in 2 weeks. A lot has been happening and has been touched on. So we won't go all the way back. We'll just stay what's going on this week. Let's go, what's happening this week. So Breonna Taylor, tell me about that settlement that happened. Something went on with that or what? What's going on?
$12 million. That was the settlement that the city of Louisville made with her mother, with her family. Still ain't arrested no cops.
Well, I mean,
still ain't brought no charges.
So what do you do now at this point? Do you care that, that they get the money or what? So has justice been served? That the fact that she has the money now?
No, we can do both. We can give them the money and we can. So they left it really vague, which, they've agreed to institute a number of changes in policing. And they're saying they're going to impose more scrutiny on officers during the execution of search warrants. And I think somebody has to sign off on all these warrants and all this stuff. So they're just, they left it pretty vague about what the changes are going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we love the $12 million. We love that she got some money.
Right. Well, I look at it as them acknowledging that somebody did something wrong. You know, at first, still the cops aren't arrested, but the fact that they acknowledge that, okay, we may have had something to do with this, or our officers may have had something to do with this, then okay. I think that's a step toward justice, a small step, you know.
And I also think, like you just said, if they had before the settlement deal went through, if they had already charged the officers, fired the officers, done all that, they probably would have been in line to be paying out more money. So they're trying to limit the amount of culpability they agree to.
Got you. Okay. So we'll continue to see what's up with that, because like I said, if no justice is served with these cops, you're gonna see other people out here still looting and protesting. Because this is the one, you know, you hear about all of the other ones who have passed away and, you know, justice still hasn't been served. But this, Breonna Taylor, this is the one that is getting so much attention, like worldwide, like sports figures. It's all on the football jerseys and, you know, it's all on basketball court. So that's the one that I feel is the one that, you know, if nothing happens, like no justice is served, some shit's gonna go down. For real.
So is Oprah taking the billboards down, or is she waiting for the arrest, in your opinion?
Keep them up. Yeah, keep them up.
I think she's keeping them up.
Absolutely, yeah. I had to think about that for a second, but yeah, absolutely. Keep them up. Want to remind you guys that we'll have a real estate agent on later in a matter of moments, maybe in another 10, 15 minutes or so. He's going to talk to us about, man, the real estate game. You know, a lot of people out there, I know a lot of people probably watching this are renting. Like me, I'm renting. I'm about to get out of here soon, but you're renting. And you may want to think about, you know, purchasing property or how does that work? Because me personally, I'm looking at the whole, how do you buy property, fix them up, and then sell them, get the bread, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to talk to Brian Colebrook, a real estate agent, a little later on this evening. All right. What else do you have? Now, you were talking about and I know you hate reboots. I know you hate reboots.
Passion.
Yeah. But Good Times is going to have a Netflix animation type of deal. Like, what's up with that?
So here's the deal. They're going to bring together Norman Lear, original dude who did it. This is with Steph Curry's production company, you know, NBA. But they're also going to bring on Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
And he's known for Family Guy. And this is where people's feathers get really ruffled. Like, even if they were on board for a reboot, they're like, okay, and not so fast.
So the fact that Seth MacFarlane, of course, is the creator of Family Guy. He's also the creator of American Dad. Yep. He also is the creator of the Cleveland Show that got canceled. But so that's him. That's his whole thing. And his comedy is like very, man, he goes there, you know. Definitely. Like he really, 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 really like goes there. And like when you watch it, you're going to be offended if you're black. You're going to be offended if you're white. You're going to be offended if you're Mexican, if you're a woman. Like they make sure they cover the full gamut as it relates to insulting people. So are they going to make it like that to where the Good Times characters are animated and they're like uber black? You know what I'm saying?
I do know some of the people that they have involved. One being Carl Jones. He has worked on the Boondocks. He's worked on Black Dynamite and Tracy Morgan's show, The Last OG.
Okay.
So, got some edgy material in those shows. Faux show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just stop messing with it already. Just call it something else.
Okay. So we were talking, you know, that Fresh Prince thing got accepted, right? I don't know if you know that or not.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen. 2 seasons. They ordered 2 seasons.
Oh, that thing. No, I thought you meant the reunion. You're talking about Bel Air.
No, that's happening too. You know, the Fresh Prince reunion is happening. Of course, Will is talking to the old Aunt Viv.
I can't believe it. That's all I'm living for. I couldn't care less about Carlton and Ashley and none of them. They can go straight and jump in the river. All I want to see is Will talk to Janet Hubert.
Yeah. That's how you pronounce that? It was Hubert.
She be getting fancy sometimes. So I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know what it
Hubert.
really is. That she probably is Hubert, but then when she's a thespian,
Yeah.
and so then she's Hubert on the stage doing her Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in this last story, Roy Jones is scared of Mike Tyson.
As
Now, I
well he
don't know.
should be.
As well he should be. I don't know if you guys remember that situation about maybe 3-4 months ago. There was a charity fight that was scheduled for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I don't know if it's still happening, but anyway, Roy Jones had an interview the other day. Roy Jones, and I quote, said this the other day, that I don't know about doing this. It may be a mistake. He's still Mike Tyson. He's still one of the strongest, most explosive people who ever touched the boxing ring. If I made a mistake going in there with him, I made a mistake going in there with him. He's the bigger guy. He's the explosive guy. So basically, Roy Jones Jr. is punking out. Is getting scared.
He is punking out, and he's setting himself up. This is what I love. When they set himself up that if they go through with it and then they fall flat, and fail, that they already set up the excuse ahead of time. Well, he was bigger. He was this. We already knew this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. So again, we're gonna have our guest, Mr. Brian Colebrook. He's gonna log on in a matter of moments to talk real estate and all of that. Shouts out to So Focus. Who's So Focus with the ad? What's up, So Focus?
So Focus want to see it.
Yeah, shouts out to So Focus. Anything else we should touch on that we haven't this week?
You mentioned something to me that I don't know nothing about.
Okay.
With Swiss Beats and Janet. What do you do?
So here's the deal. I guess it was brought up to where they want a versus between Janet Jackson and Missy, right? Janet Jackson, right. That don't even sound right, right? Exactly.
No,
that don't even sound right. Yeah. So it was brought up. It was suggested to Swiss Beats that Janet Jackson and Missy should go against each other in the verses. And Swiss said Missy can be multiple people. Janet is just going to be Janet. And he's basically saying that Janet may not have enough hits to hang with Missy. What?
I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was doing, she's got hits, but everything sounds like the same thing except for Black Cat, Rhythm Nation, and Control.
Okay.
Don't everything else sound the same?
Okay.
And so I think that's what he was saying. I think he was trying to say the same thing, that she's got more range and Missy's all over the place and Janet just sound like Janet.
Okay, so Twitter got him. Of course, Twitter was getting at him like, dude, what is your problem? Are you crazy? Swiss cheese beats or whatever. They were just giving him all types of different. So he came back on Instagram and he said, let's be clear. I don't think Missy and Janet is a good matchup at all. I'll give him props on that because it's not a good matchup.
No, it's not.
He says, much love to Janet. She's an icon, but I just didn't feel that was a good matchup. Janet got hits on hits, but she should have a better person to celebrate with. That's all. Blessing. Now, first person that pops in my mind to go up against Janet would be Mariah Carey. What do you think about that? I know Mariah doesn't dance or anything, but I think Mariah's catalog would match up to Janet's catalog. Seeing as Mary J. Blige she's not an option. She's not going to do it.
She said no?
Yeah, she said no. She's not battling anybody. Like when you're a major, I think when you're big, this isn't for you. I don't see Jay-Z sitting down doing the verses,
I'm still stuck on, you said Janet and Mariah?
Who would be a good fit to go up against Mariah? I mean, Janet. Who?
I don't know. You just sprung it on me. I don't know.
No, you have to. These things must come out instantly. These things must come out.
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No.
Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Mariah Carey.
For who? Who we doing her with again? Janet?
Janet. No,
I
still
don't know,
no.
because after Mariah's career took the turn where she had to go hang out with ODB and them, and she had to have some of those songs, I don't know. I don't
Okay,
even know who I would put Mariah with. I'm not hung up on. I'm not hung. I don't know who those two could go against. So maybe we should just put them together. Just gotta draw a blank on both of them.
But wait, what are you? What? Huh? What? Okay, so
Okay, so Charmene says Mariah is the only one that has the same level as Janet.
yeah, that's about it. Who else? Unless you
Oh,
want to cross over and go like Britney Spears or
no, we ain't doing
some
that.
shit like that.
That's
No,
not
you
what
don't
we're
want to do
doing.
that.
That's not what we're
Yeah,
doing.
we're definitely not doing that. So
Okay, let's go Mariah and Janet. Okay.
I don't see anything humanly wrong with that. I really don't.
No, I'm okay with it. I'm coming around. So I'm wrapping my brain around it. I'm on
Okay.
board. Hell, I'm
Okay.
not gonna watch it out anyway.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna come and get the highlights, get the cliff notes after.
okay. So you're good with that.
Yeah, but who are we putting with Missy now?
That's another damn unicorn. Like I don't know who are we putting Missy with. You tell me. Give me. We got some time here.
Man, I'm gonna have to sleep on these. You coming out the gate. You could have given me some notice. I don't know. Missy, who goes with Missy? That's the thing. That was always the thing. Missy was out there by her damn self.
She's a damn unicorn. Like who else would go unless you put Missy with Timberland? No.
Oh.
No.
No, because no.
Yeah. So we'll ponder on that. We'll get to that. If it happens or when it happens, we'll talk about that once it's time.
Missy versus Nicki Minaj, says Jamie Martinez.
No, because remember, Missy's a writer, a producer, a rapper. The motherfucker sings, she dances, So we'll come back to that. I guess that's a hard one, I guess.
Yeah, that's a real hard one. Okay.
That's a hard
okay.
one. That's a hard one. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is bring in Mr. Brian Colebrook, who is a real estate broker in the finer Chicagoland area and more. What's up, Mr. Colebrook?
How you doing, sir?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hello. Doing well in yourself?
All right. So, man, this young man have a long history. One of my good friends, one of my good buddies from high school. Now, like I said, me and him has been knowing each other freshman, sophomore year in high school. And I remember being in high school and his mom had a real estate office on the west side. And so it's so funny that not funny, but you kind of knew it was going to happen the way he would grow up and, take over the family business and do the whole thing. So, Brian, if you could, bro, just tell me how you started. Tell us how you started doing this whole real estate thing. What made you, get an interest in selling houses?
Well, like you said, my mother was had a real estate company, so I kind of grew up in the business. It's funny because at first I had no interest in being in real estate at all. By her being in it, and then as I got older and saw the opportunity that real estate presents versus
you was all about cars, like he was in the cars.
So real estate, it just was second nature to me. I came in, since I had been around it my whole life, I understood the language, so it was second nature. It was an easy transition. And so when I got in, I just kind of fell in love with it. Plus, it provided an opportunity for me to work with people, help people, and make a living doing it.
Got you. So, man, being in it, you've been in it how long? 20, 25 years? How long have you can say you've been doing it?
Professionally, 13 years. Prior to that, I was investing. I think I invested while I was working. So maybe 10 years prior to that.
Okay.
Prior to opening up a brokerage.
Okay. So in what you do, can you, I guess, hone in on what you see is a problem in the real estate industry or whatever with African Americans? And that's like not even a direct question. That's like whatever you tell me about it. Is it the fact that you see a lot of African Americans being denied because of this, or you see, break that down for me.
Yeah. I mean, as far as African Americans, that's a great question. One, I believe that we don't value the opportunity of real estate that we have in our community until someone else comes in, and then we want to see value when other races and nationality come in. Mm-hmm. The other thing is crowdfunding. We don't necessarily pool our funds and resources together like other nationalities do. The game is, there's some challenges, as far as achieving financing and getting good deals, systematically. But I think they're achievable if as a race we was able to work together and come together. Mm-hmm. Especially the collective crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a great platform that you see other, you saw the Chinese implemented before it was even a name to it.
Crowdfunding. What's that? The susus, what is crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding is basically where you're not going to traditional banks for funding for loans, where if I got 10,000, you got 10,000, Alex got 10,000, that's $30,000 that we funded to put a deal together. If you do that on a bigger scale, if you got 100 people to put $1,000 into the fund, that's $100,000 that you can use to finance a deal for someone and then pay back the dividends, the same way interest do. The way banks work, banks loan investors money and pay them back the interest that you pay. So the same concept will work in crowdfunding.
Mm-hmm. Right, Alex.
So instead of having to go through banks and go through the red tape, if we was collectively put it together, I think that it's another guy, Jay Morris, and I think he was on Black Wall Street. He did something like that where he was able to fund the money on a bigger scale. If you follow social media, Grant Cardone is probably one of the biggest names of social media to do crowdfunding. He pools investors' monies together and go and purchase, multi-million-dollar apartment buildings.
That's rough though to get, because now you're in business with, that person. That's a lot of people. I mean, it's hard to trust.
Yeah. It definitely needs to be structured. It should definitely be structured. But to answer Trey's question, is the model's out there. It exists. So it just doesn't exist with us. So it can work. It's just how do we get it to work?
Mm-hmm.
Are people still flipping houses these days? Because that was okay. So how is that going now? Because first it was a super, super, super big boom, and then there were so many TV shows, and you couldn't get away from a TV show about flipping a house. And hearing the commercials, come to my seminar and such, and I thought it died down.
So here's what I think.
Okay, so before you tell that, explain what flipping houses means, because there are some people out there that may not even have heard the term and have never asked what that meant.
Right.
True.
So a flipping housing is basically when you purchase a distressed property, a house that needs work for a discounted price, a low price. You go in, you do the work, and then you sell it for a profit. So that's essentially what flipping is in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. Has it died down? It's tougher. It hasn't died. It's harder to find deals now, and it's harder to find financing.
Why so? Because of COVID, or this was before COVID?
Well, COVID, it's a combination. I don't think COVID really has an effect. I don't think it affected the real estate market at all. Actually, it's actually had an opposite effect.
Okay.
The market is stronger than it was pre-COVID.
Okay.
But why is it harder to get funding? Is because, like you say, a lot of people are getting into flipping, and so that risk is out there. It exists. So those people that aren't familiar or don't know how and got in and lost a bunch of money. Now the lenders are a little tighter with how they lend money out. And then the deals, you know, if you got when the market grows, it's hard to find deals because everybody think that their house is worth more than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So that creates a vacuum effect where you don't have an influx of deals. So they're out there. Just have to find them.
Gotcha.
So what I've always flipping houses looks fun. It just always looked risky to me because if the market, you know, changed and I'm stuck with this house and what have you, but it looked fun and it looked like, you know, everybody was doing great for a while. But what I did see when all those shows about real estate were happening is a lot of shows on income properties. And that caught my eye. Because what I kept seeing over and over, and you can explain what an income property is too, but what I kept seeing over and over is when people had an income property, they were able to get rent from their renters and it would cover their mortgage and then some. So anything over that was their monthly bill was taken care of. And then the rest was just like in their pocket. And so it was nothing but profit. And so I was like, aha, now that sounds like the ticket. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so what that method is called, it's actually really popular now more than flipping. It's called the Burr method. It does require you to have a little bit more resources than flipping do, but the Burr method is where you go and you purchase an income property, a 2-flat, 3-flat. I think is duplexes, multi-unit properties are the best investments. You go in, you rent them out, you fix them, you rent them out, you get the rents up, and then you refinance out and pull your cash out. And then that way the rent is actually paying the mortgage, but whatever investments you had put in, you get all of that back. So essentially you got a building with no cost. Your rent is being paid and you're able to make a profit.
And that's because when you break it up, individual units will each individually, when you add that 3 together, what you're getting from them, those 3 will make up more or cover more, bring in more money than just the payment on the one big building as a whole.
Well, yeah. I mean, essentially you have to purchase it right, you know, but the numbers should make sense where by the time at the end of the month when rent's paid, that it covers your mortgage, your expenses plus a profit.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's real popular right now because in today's market, financing is so cheap that it creates an opportunity for, you know, if you can get FHA financing and buy, I think you can purchase a building that has 4 units in it. So you can buy a 4-unit building with FHA financing, which is the same finance you use for a personal house, and live in it for a year rent-free and collect the rent and still make a profit on it. And that's you can't really beat that, especially when you consider the risk. You're not it's low risk. You don't have to have a whole lot of skills. You still always need a place to stay. And you're able to rent out the other unit. So it covers every aspect.
Right. Now I like I got more questions, but go ahead, Alex. Continue.
Yeah.
So how do you spot a good property? Like, what are some of the things that would make this property ideal to buy in? We know, as far as an investment and owning, we know that there's a certain list of criteria that makes a house appealing when you're just buying it just for you just to buy it and live in it. Yeah. And that's, you know, you want a good zip code, school district, all that stuff like that. But that's just going just to live in it. But when we're talking investment or income property, what are some of the things that you look for that stand out as a flag, like, aha, this one might be a good one?
Oh, that's a good question. So most it really depends on the individual risk tolerance. is you have a person that does not do well with risk. So they should stay into, if you don't take risk, your return is smaller. So you can, you both familiar with Chicago. If you was to buy a condo downtown, your risk is going to be smaller, but your return is going to be smaller as well. You're going to have a 2 or 3% return on your money. Versus if you have a higher tolerance for risk and you can manage the process, you can purchase something in the riskier neighborhood, but the returns are higher. You get 16% return on your money. So to answer your question, it depends on your risk tolerance. So in general, if you're starting out, I would look for something that's stable, that doesn't require you to do any major foundational repairs, in a neighborhood where you have a good mixture of income types. So that's what I would look for at the beginning, and as I mastered that level, I will go into a riskier place and manage that and get a higher return. But beginning, I would look for a building that has solid foundation, meaning that the major components of the property, the bricks, the front, the windows, the roof, the plumbing, the electrical is solid. That way, if you need to do cosmetic things, you can do it at your leisure. Versus emergencies, my roof is leaking. You don't want to be in that position at the beginning.
Let me ask you, is there a particular time of the year where you suggest to purchase property, or does it matter?
As an investment, it does not matter. You probably get your best deals in the wintertime versus as a homeowner, if you were selling, it's not winter, it's not a good time to go on the market. But as an investment, majority of your deals are going to be found when no one wants to go outside in the winter. But technology has changed that a little bit, but it's still the case.
Have you seen a particular demographic, male, female, black, white, whatever? I guess I'm asking, who do you see gets houses the most? Is it your money, or is it a particular, is it females you see, or is it blacks, or is it Hispanics, or who do you see are more approved for, to buy property? Yeah.
Well, our Caucasian counterparts, I've seen them do some things that, I've seen some things happen that I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's what happens. But I mean, if you take that aside and you look at it, from a realistic standpoint, women typically have, better chances at getting approved for things than men do.
Oh, snap.
Can you say why?
I mean, I don't have the facts, but I think from a responsibility standpoint, I don't think they pose as much risk as men do.
Right.
I mean, I have to say that even from a landlord standpoint, if I have two identical tenants applying for the same place, if a woman apply as a landlord, my mind assumes that the woman is going to be more responsible in paying the rent than the man will.
Yeah.
That's just business, no discrimination. I'm sure guys pay their rent, and women sometimes, but
yes,
we in the business where you have to, weigh your risk. You have to look at all the information presented to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing. The banks do the same thing. I think as African Americans for a long time, we've got stuck in the idea of we're systematically oppressed. And I think we get stuck there. So you consider the redlining, and you consider all of the things that hold us back, but never really get to how do we propel ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we deal with the fact that we're going to be marginalized at the lending table, then we can deal with how do we get past that hurdle. If we deal with the fact that women are going to be looked at more responsibly when it comes to making decisions, then we also have to consider that as a hurdle that we have to overcome it, or look at it as a decision-making standpoint.
So let's say, Brian, I want to do this. I'm ready to go. What are some steps that I should take, knowing that when I go for a loan or going to get approved or what have you, that I know I need to meet certain needs? Should I be squirreling away my little money, and as soon as I have $5,000, I can, go and say, look, I got a good credit history and I got $5,000, give me a loan? Should I be trying to squirrel away 10 grand? Should I be clearing up my credit first? I just give me a first few baby steps to get started.
Education before you put any of the money down, or, the credit, you should definitely work on your credit. But
okay, stop right there before you keep going. When you say credit, work on your credit, what do you mean credit? What type of things do they look at on your credit report that would get you denied, or you got to hurry up and clear up?
But the reason I say education is because depending on how you want to invest is going to determine on what type of finance you're going to need. Each finance is going to require you to be someplace different. If you're going for FHA finance, I think you need to be at a 620 credit score, but they have underwriting guidelines that you have to meet, and that's your income has to be placed. You have to have 2 years of tax returns, and that's just to get in the process. But then you also have, if you have, you have bridge loans with hard money lenders that require 20% down, but don't require all of the guidelines that FHA loans have, So that's why I say the education component is so crucial, is because you need to know what's all available to you and which route in real estate you want to take. It's really not as simple as I'm gonna buy something to make money. It never really works that way.
I was going to ask you that, because what if, I just been out here living and I decided, okay, I'm going to do right now. And I got, sorry, grandma, but grandma just died and left me some money. And then my favorite uncle died and left me some money. And then my mama socked away a little bit of something. So they gave me some loot. My credit report ain't looking that great. I was living kind of shady for a while, but I got this money. Can I go somewhere and be like, I got this money? Drop it on the table and be like, let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's hard money lenders that's not concerned about your credit. If you're able to put a deal together and you have some money to put into the deal, they will absolutely finance you at a high interest rate, and you have to be savvy enough to know how to get out of it. So no matter what we talk about, it's always gonna circle back to education. Because if you're not reading and you're not mastering the skill sets to being an investor, you're going to run into a roadblock, and you're going to have your money on the line, and it's real easy to lose it.
Are we asking the same question because I was going to ask you, say for instance, I'm 21 or 22, and I'm out here and I'm ready to buy property or whatever. And I know you said to straighten my credit out. But should I take real estate classes? Is it like a common sense thing? No. Somebody like yourself, or
Yeah. So here's what I would do. This is what I did. I read. There's tons of books in real estate. One of my favorite ones is Multifamily Millions, because it basically, especially from an investment standpoint, it tells you how the numbers work, how to get into real estate, and how to get out. It's detailed, but it's basic enough that you can understand it at a beginning level. Robert Kiyosaki was one of the first real estate. He actually kind of set me on my path. You should really understand how money works, how it flows, how it moves around a deal, before you even get into investing. Because there's so many terms, there's so much there's so many different scenarios because there's not one deal that's identical to the next deal.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to really be prepared is to take all of that, take as much information in as you can before, because the TV shows are a send off. Then real estate is nothing like what you see on television.
Right,
It's
right.
good,
You mean the little infomercials that come on at 4 in the morning? Those aren't true.
Look, people that's really getting money not making infomercials on real estate. So,
love that.
So that's one. So when you start seeing a whole bunch of classes and stuff, one, you should be like, how do you have time to do this, for one? And two, if you getting so much money in real estate, why are you charging me $30,000 to how does it doesn't really even make sense. But that's what happens when the market gets tight, because you always see it around the same time. When something changes in the market, you either see a decrease in the classes or an increase in the classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to kind of tell what's happening, because the people that's really doing it, they don't like nobody. I don't have time to sit and talk to 13. I'm not even making that type of money, but
right.
You just don't have that type of time. That's another business. Maybe that's a better.
Yeah.
That's not real estate. That's a whole nother business.
So let's just say I did it. I got my money. I don't care how I got it, whether it was grandma left me some loot, whether it was my crowdsourcing, whether it was my
wait.
my street work.
We talked about this earlier. Nobody says loot anymore. Okay?
I do.
She said loot earlier, and I was like, you sound like a 1950s gangster. Give me the loot, see? Give me the loot, see? No, the bread, the money.
I'm an advocate for the classics, man.
Yeah.
So I got it all. I did it. I got my money, and I got my loan, and I got my property, and I'm doing my investment thing. So I've split up. I got my 3 flat that you like, the duplex, whatever, triplex, and I'm getting my rents and all this. What I want to know now is how much above my monthly costs should I be bringing in where it's a safe profit? Because stuff can go wrong, and I have to pay for the roof, I have to pay for the plumbing, I pay for any of that goes wrong. Where is that good cushion that as long as I'm bringing in this much over my monthly expenses, it's a smart deal, because you can be bringing in $50 a month over what it is, and 50 is a profit, but 50 ain't a profit, because you're about to hit a snag in a hot second and be in trouble.
Yeah. So there's no dollar amount. I use a formula of 5% of the rent per month should go towards repairs. I put that to the side. So I've already calculated that at the purchase. That's already calculated in my purchase price to see. So what you want to avoid doing is waiting till stuff happens to budget for it. So when you look at a property, and if you're bringing in, $1,500 a month in rents, you should have calculated 5% of that to determine a purchase price that you can afford.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's good. They got that down. 5%. I took notes.
Yeah, man. You can. I'm trying not to complicate this, but a pro forma, if you're looking at rental properties, a pro forma kind of is what we use to kind of be a roadmap as to how a property is going to perform, at least for the next 2 years or so, before we can make some real changes. So your pro forma is going to allow you to look at what's it currently doing and how much you can safely afford to pay for it and cover your expenses and make a profit. So you asked about profit. When I look at a cash return, most people look at stock markets. The stock market and your retirement funds usually are paying anywhere between 4% on your money. 4 to 6. If you put it in the bank, I think you get in like 2.25% on your money. So anything above that, real estate typically 8%. If you can get an 8% return on your money, you're doing good.
Monthly.
Yeah, so when you do your calculations, you do it on an annual and then divide it up, because it fluctuates.
Gotcha.
But you want from an annual return, you want to be, 8% is a good return. 10% is usually where I like to be at. Anything above that is good.
Good to know. And
Cash on cash, you're looking at 20% return is a good return also.
Does that same rule apply as like buy the worst house in the best neighborhood and then work with it and usually get more eventual bang for your buck?
Yeah. So like at the beginning of this, I was saying that the bigger the risk, the bigger the return. So if you purchase a house and let's just say Inglewood, that returns are like 17-18% cap rate versus the South Loop is 2% cap rate. So you can kind of see how the difference is. So it's just a bigger risk just because there's more renters willing to pay more money in the South Loop than they are than you have just going into Inglewood. Nothing wrong with Inglewood, but that's just it's the reality of the business.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah.
That brother dropping gems tonight.
Man. I could talk. I could do this all night. So this is what I do.
What's the most rewarding thing, man? Into the whole real estate thing. Like with me, my most rewarding thing is the fact that every single day I get to talk shit, and can't nobody talk back to me. I get to comment on the news of the day or whatever. That's my pleasure. I wake up. That's a rush I get. That's a feeling that I get. How about you, man? You doing real estate? What's the most rewarding of what you do? Rewarding part?
Oh man, freedom. I'm not completely free because I still have bills to pay. I'm still tied to my debt.
Yeah.
But I can make as much or as little money as I want, and I can do it how often or how little as I want to. And and then it allows me to be creative. It allows me to be creative as far as marketing. I get to meet people, and one of the skills I like to work with numbers.
Yeah.
So that really does it for me. You get to see how buildings work, put them together. How I see people do some real creative, cool things as far as getting past hurdles. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. When you on the back end, you get to see people take a building that's not performing, work it out, and make it something spectacular. They jumped over the hurdles.
You watch a lot of those do-it-yourself shows, man?
No. I used to watch the Flip My House, the flip, and then I started calculating. I'm like, there's no way possible that this works like that. So it's cool. What I do watch, I think it's on Bravo, the $1 million listing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I do like those guys, but the flip shows, the numbers never add up.
What was the biggest deal that you brokered?
Oh man, I did last December on my own by myself was 2.7 million.
All right.
Yeah, I've done some deals a little bigger, but I was partnering with other people with them.
Yeah. All right. That's what's up, man.
Impressive.
Yeah, man. This dude used to cut class together and used to drive in his mom's car and smoke Black and Miles back in the day.
Yeah. This dent right here, man. That's all you.
The car accident. We had a car accident on Sacramento and Jackson, was it?
Yeah.
Hey, before I learned how to drive, Brian was my driver. That's what's up, man. You have a contact info? How people can contact you, man? You got a number or something?
Yeah. My phone number is 773-893-0093, and you can reach me online at Blueprint Realty Group LLC.com.
Okay, Blueprint Realty Group, LLC.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, that's if anybody,
You know, on Facebook, the Brian Colebrook Real Estate Broker and Blueprint Realty.
and if y'all don't know the link, you can just check it out in the title, and you can click on his Facebook page and take it from there. As you can see, his number 773-893-0093. Man, appreciate you, brother. Man, this was
I
this was
appreciate
great.
you all having me.
This was
Thank
great
you.
information. And of course, if the topic of real estate or something like that pops up again, we know who to call, man. Making $2.7 million deals and whatnot, man. I'm proud of you, man. Congrats to you, man. All the success.
Thank you
That's
so much.
awesome.
Yes,
You take
sir.
care,
Yes,
Brian. Thanks.
You too. Thanks again.
All right, episode 15. What had happened was got that game in the real estate game.
We need a spot, man. They making that loot.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, episode
You
15.
didn't. I said it on purpose for you to clown me, and you just let it slide by.
You
See,
keep saying it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get her to stop saying it. So, you know. See y'all next week for episode 16. I'm Trey Chocolate Jock.
I'm Alex Dupree.
Holla. Y'all wait, hold on, wait. We got there they go. Bam!
Deuces.